Many spec screenplays are sold every year. So to define our terms a little bit, a spec screenplay is a screenplay that's written by a writer who's not being paid to write it. Okay, so it's based on an original idea, or it's based on one of their own previous works, like a short story or something that they wrote. But they control the IP, and nobody's paying them to write that screenplay. They're doing it on speculation that they're going to be able to sell it to a studio, a production company, or a producer who is then going to go make the movie. In contrast to an assignment, which is where a studio or somebody hires a writer and then pays them a rate to write a screenplay and then owns everything that they write. So it is really hard to find firm numbers on this, but I think a good place to start is just by looking at how many features are produced in a normal non-COVID year. So in a non-COVID year, there's anywhere from 700 to 900 features that are released in the U.S. and Canada. Doesn't include the rest of the world. And about 200 to 300 of those tend to be studio movies. So a bunch of the other ones are movies for streamers, movies for TV, so-called MOWs or movies of the week, which includes like Hallmark, Lifetime, Sci-Fi, movies that are essentially intended for quote-unquote television distribution. So let's say a normal year is 700 features and 250 of those are from WGA signatory entities like the studios and a few really big production companies like Legendary or something. What's going on with those other 450 movies? What's going on there? There's a certain number of specs that are in that 250, but let's just set that aside for now. And let's look at the other 450 movies that are made every year that get distribution. This doesn't even include the movies that don't get distribution in the U.S. And how many of those do you think are specs? Well, I think almost all of them, the vast majority of them are. As an independent film financier, I see a large cross-section of the independent films that are produced every year, and I get to see their budgets. I get to see what they're paying for screenplays. I get to vet the chain of title and see where the scripts come from, who held them, what's going on there. And the rights are almost always with the writer, or they have like a very simple one-page option for a small amount of money. I'm talking like $500, $1,000 option with the producer or the production company. And how do I know those turned into sales? Well, the movie got made, right? So if the movie got made, you got to buy the rights. So somebody got paid, and I'm going to make a part 2 here and talk about what people make in the independent world that's never really reported on, and it's kind of a, kind of through a glass darkly kind of thing. So stay tuned for part 2.